Today, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to take a deep dive into a super popular Hindi nursery rhyme video. Now, on the surface, yeah, it's a bunch of cute songs for kids, but if you actually watch it closely, it tells a much, much bigger story about how we tell stories. It's pretty fascinating. Let's get into it.
It all kicks off with this really simple, kind of charming line. One fat elephant went for a walk. You think you know where this is going, right? Just a cute kid's tale. But this one elephant is about to start a journey that actually teaches a pretty powerful lesson. And believe it or not, this is just Act 1 in what turns out to be a very, very strange 3-act play.
So, here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll follow that elephant's journey. Then we'll see how it becomes all about teamwork. After that, things take a wild turn with a really surreal bedtime story. Then, we'll look at the sudden jump from old-school rhymes to modern apps. And finally, we'll piece it all together to see what it says about storytelling today.
All right, let's start at the beginning. Act 1. We meet our main character, and we see the problem that gets this whole thing moving. So our story starts with just one lone elephant. He's just out for a stroll, but, things go sideways pretty quick. He gets caught in the rain, and a big cloud scares him. It's a really simple, relatable problem, right? He's alone, he's scared, and he needs help. This sets the whole stage for what the rhyme is really about.
And what it's about is the power of teamwork. See, the solution to the elephant's problem isn't just to be brave by himself. Nope, it's to build a community. And this is where the story really starts to pick up steam.
Our elephant doesn't just sit there waiting for the storm to pass. He actually calls out for a friend. And with that one simple move, a team starts to form. One elephant becomes two.
But, as you can imagine, more elephants can mean bigger problems. Now, 2 of them are stuck on a path that's too narrow. So what do? You got it. They call for another friend.
So now, we've got 3 of them. And they decide to try and ride a tiny little bicycle, which, of course, immediately breaks. The solution? Well, the pattern holds. They need to expand the team.
And finally, after a team of 4 accidentally breaks a vegetable cart, they call for one last friend. And there we have it. The full team of 5 elephants is finally assembled, ready for their biggest challenge yet.
Okay, what's so cool about this, and what you can see so clearly here, is how the stakes just keep getting higher. As the team gets bigger, the problems get way more complex. We've moved way past being scared of a cloud. Now we're talking about real physical obstacles, hilarious mishaps, and it all ends with all 5 of them getting tangled up in a monkey's net.
The ending is just as great as the beginning. A friendly monkey who, ironically, caused their final problem, ends up being their savior and sets them free. And here's the key part. After all that, the 5 elephants celebrate by dancing together. It's this perfect little story about community and friendship. And then, the video just takes a complete left turn.
Seriously, we just leave that whole world of elephants behind and get dropped into this weird, dreamlike little scene. The second rhyme is called Upar Pankha Chalta Hai, which means the fan runs above, and it is a straight-up dive into what I can only call domestic surrealism.
Now, to really get what's happening here, it helps to know about a specific style of poetry called nonsense verse. See, it's not trying to tell a logical A to B story. It's all about creating a feeling, a mood, using these playful, absurd connections that feel a whole lot like the way a dream works. So the rhyme has these 2 parts that are almost exactly the same. In the first one, a boy named Ajay is sleeping. In the second, it's a girl named Muni. Even the person bringing the peanuts has a different name. This kind of repetition with a tiny little twist is what gives it that hypnotic, lullaby kind of feeling. And then we get this absolute gem of a line. While the kid is sleeping, someone brings them peanuts, but there's no kernel in the peanut. We are not your maternal uncle. It's just so wonderfully weird and completely random. It's the perfect example of nonsense verse. Why an uncle? Why are the peanuts empty? There's no reason, and that's exactly the point.
So let's just trace this bizarre chain of events. A sleeping child gets hungry, someone brings empty peanuts, then there's the random denial about being an uncle. That non-uncle then goes to a city called Kota and comes back with a singing parrot. It's just this cascade of dream logic, where each thing is kind of connected to the last, but it makes 0 real-world sense. It's just pure whimsical fun.
So just as we're getting comfortable in this weird, poetic dreamscape, the video pivots again. And this time, it's into something completely different and very, very modern. It becomes a commercial. All of a sudden, we're not in a fable or a poem anymore. We are being sold something.
The song just starts listing the features of the Apples and Bananas learning app. You get stories, puzzles, English, math, colors. The whole point of the video shifts from entertainment to a direct call to action. Download the app.
So, what does this all mean, right? We've just been on a journey through 3 completely different worlds in the span of a few minutes. Let's pull it all together and figure out what this one video is actually telling us.
This chart really sums up the whole wild ride. We started with that traditional story about working together. Then we jumped into the pure, nonsensical joy of a weird poem, and we ended up with commercialized, interactive education. 3 totally different ways of telling stories to kids, all crammed into one package.
And this right here is the big takeaway. This isn't just a random playlist of songs. It's like a miniature history of children's media. You can see the whole evolution, from classic fables that teach us how to be good people, to verses that are all about imagination, all the way to the modern world of gamified, app-based learning.
And that journey leaves us with this final question. The leap from those 5 dancing elephants to the Download Now button is a pretty short one, and it shows just how much our stories are changing. It makes you wonder, when a story becomes a sales pitch, what do we gain, and what, if anything, do we lose? Something to think about.